Evil DM here, Idols and Efreetis, another episode. We're back. So I was going over some things in my notes, and I realized there was something that I wanted to cover in the past, but I did not cover up until now. It's called side adventures, or as I like to call them, a side salad, because that's what they are. They're kind of like a little side serving of what's happening on the main dish or the main plot. So let's say you've run into this problem. You've prepared your game all week as a DM. You're ready to play and everything, and all of a sudden, you get a call out. You get players calling to you saying, "Hey, I can't make it. Life happens." That happens. Things like that happen, and you can't exactly always 100% commit to everything. Sometimes you have things happen and you need to do something about it. So, and sometimes you're the player and this happens, and you're like, "Oh crap! I was looking forward to it all week." But as the DM, you have to decide something last minute what you want to do here, and there's only a couple things that I've written down that might help you out, and we'll go over those individually. Like the first one is, should you cancel the game? It's probably the easiest thing to do, but also not the funnest option to do, because nobody gets to play and everybody wants to play. So let's move on to the next one. Second one, should you continue the main storyline? Chances are you probably left off somewhere, either with a cliffhanger or maybe at a point that where the group was going to do something important. Maybe it leads them to follow up on something or someone. Should you continue with only half the group, a quarter of the group? Tough call here. There's a lot of factors to play here, such as, will the group survive if you only do half the group as opposed to the full group or a quarter of the group? Also, will folks miss out on key story elements and treasure and gold and experience? Well, what about, do you have permission to allow players to run other characters for them? Generally doesn't go well with other characters to allow, Tom to play Steve's character, unless they purposely say, "Hey guys, I'm not going to be here this week. Tim, will you, here's my character, will you run him next week? Please don't kill him." Those things like that, yeah, that's cool. Sometimes we've run with that, but it doesn't really go well. Most people don't like to continue the story without the full group, so the chance on that one, probably a low percentage of that happening. Run another game. I sometimes do this if we have a small group of people that made it to the game. I'll have some pre-written characters up. I'll just make up a full entire group for everybody, and I'll just say, "Hey guys, we don't have enough people tonight, as we found out. So tonight we're gonna play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, for example." I know, random game. Here's the characters. Guys, pick it out and decide. Sometimes people find that fun because a change is in order, and people like change once in a while. So that's probably a big possibility of that happening. Finally, the point of this video is, should you as a DM run a side adventure? Yes, absolutely, and I fully endorse that you run side adventures for things. My advice for this is probably, trying to think here. What I normally do for this situation is I will write up a couple of small side adventures, like dungeons and little quests that are nothing major to the storyline, or maybe they could be. But I go to places like Dungeon, and his website has a 1E dungeon generator. And I like to do that just to throw together a map, and it gives you like some monster suggestions for the level you want to pick. And all you have to do is have that folded in there with whatever you want to write in to add to it, and make sure it's updated on whatever level the characters of the group. So if your group is all level 2s, make sure it's generally relevant to that realm of level 2, and not give out too much XP or gold or have too much of a purpose. So you can do that, and just make sure that you have a couple of these written out in your binder, ready to go. So in case you have to, boom, and update this every once in a while. So if the group advances in level 2, 3, 4, 5, every once in a while go in there and update it, because it's a good idea. Every time the bracket moves up, update what's in there so you're ahead of the game. Yeah, it's a little bit of work, but at least you're prepared for the future, and this and this situation happens. Like I said, I normally have a couple of these little maps that are, sometimes I leave them blank with just descriptions and fill in the monsters myself on the fly because I'm a very on the fly DM. Some DMs like to prepare, so they want everything written out, which is perfectly fine. You can write everything out how you want to do it and run it that way. So you can have this ready in case something happens. Now, I bet someone out there is probably saying, well, while my group was in the middle of a dungeon, or we were in the middle of a situation and we were camping in a secure area or something like that, which is very possible because 90% of the time when you're playing the game, you're exploring something and the night ends and you're probably in a position that most of the time you can't just, you could just have to stop. Say, oh, we camped for the night, we'll continue next time. This happens all the time, and I've found various ways around that will take their character from the position that they're at the moment and moving them to where they need to be, and then back to that same position after you're done. Now, a couple methods that I've used is one called a dream sequence, which obviously you can tell what that is, which can tie into the main plot if you want. The big bad invades the character's dreams, transporting them into an open area and a new dungeon in which they needed to figure their way out. Everything is real and death is permanent. You can express this by, maybe have a little floating figure taunting them, telling them, and let them describe it as a dream sequence, but let them believe it's just a dream. And then once they start getting hit and hurt, and you realize it and explain to them that, if you die, you will die. Have that little floating ball, whatever. You're going to die. This is not just a dream, you a-holes. Or something like that. Second method, I don't think it's the best method, but I've seen a couple groups do this in the past. I've never used it because most people don't agree with it, but that's just ignore the current situation and plop the entire party that's left over in a village or a town and give them their side quest. And then you agree upon when this side quest is over, just throwing them back into their current position for the next game. Everything they earned and kept is theirs to keep, but it's some type of distant memory that they did in the past. Which goes on to another one. The door that's in the campaign room is a portal to another area. So when they're done camping, they open that door, it leads them to another portal. And they step through the portal, and there's maybe a riddle there saying, once you complete this quest, to prove yourself, I will allow you to travel back through this door and back to your world, mortals. Just an example of something you can try to do. And then they can just go through your little dungeon, and when you're finally done with it, the portal appears, boom, they're back in that camping room, end of the night, end of the game. Cheesy, but it does work. Railroady, yeah, still does work. Hopefully you have a good enough group to understand that, this is how it has to roll for the night if they want to continue playing the same characters. Fifth method I've thought of is a pretty cool one, and it's a little bit different. Generate some characters for the group, hand them out randomly, allow the players to take in the characters for a moment, and make any little minor adjustments, and that will send them off into the world, and let them see how the world is from a different character point of view. Let them know that they're affecting the world with these new characters. Maybe trying to do something against the main characters. Maybe they're evil or something. Players kind of like this because it gives them a chance to take a look at another class they don't have to really invest a lot of time into. Maybe they want to invest more time into it. Who knows? I've had a couple times where I've done this and players are just like, hey, I like the secondary characters better. Can we play those instead? And sometimes the two swap. Anyway, it's a good idea and probably one of the better ideas because it's fun and doesn't interfere. That's probably about all we can think of. Either way, regardless of what you pick out of the methods, it's supposed to be a night of fun. It shouldn't be too XP heavy and it shouldn't be too reward heavy. Some gold, some minor treasure, but nothing groundbreaking or anything that advances the plot way too much. Life happens. There's no need to punish your friends for the life happening and not showing up and missing out. So all you're trying to do is provide some entertainment for the group for the night, and that's all you're doing. So if people have a problem with that, then you need to really speak to them on the side and tell them, hey, this is just a game. We're all here to have fun. It's a hobby we play, and we need to enjoy it. So with that said, tell me how you handle when players are missing and side adventures and things like that. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click on the bell icon, and keep it original, keep it old school, and good night, everybody.